What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. Today, we're talking some college football. Best bets ahead of the Friday Week 2 slate. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. We are also brought to you by Bet365. They have a promo for those of you living in Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, Iowa, Colorado, Louisiana, Indiana, Arizona, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. You can bet $5 on any game and you will get $150 in the form of bonus bets, whether that wins or loses. Must be 21 or older to play, 18 in Kentucky. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Maybe you could even take a look at one of these games. We're going to talk about two today. The purpose of these videos, the best bets as they're called, is on weekdays especially is to cover games we didn't cover on Betting You. Those episodes are already out. And then on Saturdays, just to highlight quickly the best bets that we have in the market. So today we're going to talk about two games. I know Western Illinois plays Indiana as well on this Friday night, but we do not have a line for that yet. Cowards. So we will talk about the two games we do have. And we start with SMU taking on BYU. SMU is the home team in the spot. They are 11.5-point favorites, and the total in this game currently sits at 56. Week 1, we saw BYU play an FCS team. They beat up on Southern Illinois 41-13. Pretty expected outcome there. SMU has played two games, so we have two data points. They beat Nevada in a game where they did not cover the spread, did not even get close. That score was 29-14. And then last week, they go and they play Houston Christian in an absolute beatdown, 59-7. So first of all, going back to our priors, we have a significantly better grade on this SMU team compared to BYU. BYU is sort of in perpetual rebuild. They do have a returning starting quarterback in Jake Retzlaff. He's not coming off the most efficient season. Running back, wide receiver, and offensive line leave quite a bit to be desired for this team as well. And then on defense, most of their experience comes in the secondary, which leaves a lot of problems up front against SMU. A lot of these players are also returning at safety. So we've seen sort of a logjam with BYU on defense in terms of recent, returning production. What do they do with some of these players who they're having to move? They also had a linebacker retire in camp. Ben Bywater, not great. Injuries, they didn't have Darius Lassiter in their last game. He is tentatively expected to return, but we'll see. On the SMU side, the only real unexpected things we've seen is a QB rotation between Preston Stone and Kevin Jennings. Stone has outplayed him, albeit slightly, but the coach has been very adamant that Stone will remain the starter. Jennings will still see him playing time. As far as injuries go, we did see Jalen Knighton and Moochie Dixon miss time over the first two games. Both are tentatively expected to return here, which is where I want to start. You just have so much more depth on both sides of the ball with SMU. Two quarterbacks they're going to use, I would prefer both to Jake Retzlaff. Running back, Brashard Smith has been a revelation for this team. The Miami receiver transfer has moved over to running back. He's been electric, and they just got really good play with Derek McFall in their second game. The four-star freshman. We'll see what they decide to use with him, but just a lot of resources. Receiver, they go 6 deep. Keyshawn Smith, Brinson, Bailey, Dixon, Hudson, Daniels. That doesn't even include their excellent tight end, RJ Maryland. 4 starters back on the offensive line from last year. 4 transfers come in. And then on defense, this team is loaded as well. You bring back 9 with starting experience and add nearly 10 transfers. This unit should be very good in time. So far this year, they're 22nd in total defensive efficiency. And that's with playing Nevada in a game where a lot of their wounds were self-inflicted, I'll say. They had the snap go over the punter's head, and Nevada gets the ball right at the goal line, the 9-yard line, gives him an easy score. So that game probably should have been wider. And I think we see them actually play to their full potential in a game like this against BYU, who still has significant concerns along really every position. Only, I think, some spots on defense, their secondary in particular, are pretty solid here. So haven't bet this myself. Debating laying the points with 11.5. Just missed the best number at 10 early in the week, but that is the side we lean to. Before we go to our next game, I want to tell you about Odd Shopper briefly. There's a lot of features we have at Odd Shopper right now. The marketplace is a new feature where you can have access to individual packages from creators like myself, trying to do a lot of cool things in there for those of you that like college football. Betting, props, everything like that. We post projections for player props, talk about these games early in the week. You'll hear about them there before you hear about them anywhere else, and trying to release a couple features for you guys, like some power ratings early in the week, an exclusive video. We'll have all that there. But there's also the normal odd shopper tools. Our market-based approach helps you find plus EV spots across all betting angles, sports, everything. We have it. Helps you shop lines right away. All that's in the description below, so check that out. Our next game, Duke takes on Northwestern. I do have a position on this game. I have Northwestern -2, and I'm happily going to take that in a game that has a 36.5 total. Real greasy game. We just saw Northwestern win one of these, and that's where I want to start. Level of competition through 1 week has been vastly in favor of Northwestern. They beat Miami, Ohio, the best team in the MAC according to preseason rankings, 13-6. Duke was messing around with Elon, who is a decent FCS team. They were 18th in the preseason polls in the FCS, but you're Duke. You still should not be messing around with teams like that. They end up getting the win 26-3. So what happened in those two games? I'm a little concerned with Duke's quarterback situation. Malik Murphy was a player that disappointed when he got on the field with Texas. Just a seismic drop-off between Quinn Ewers and Murphy. And this is playing with guys like Jatavian Sanders, Xavier Worthy, just elite NFL talent. All four of those pass catchers are in the NFL. And Malik Murphy came in and he couldn't get it done. Now he's at Duke. His showing in week 1 was concerning. Completed 65% of his passes, 7.3 yards per attempt. That's all good and well. Only one big-time throw, 3 turnover-worthy plays. Only one of those turnover-worthy plays turned into an actual turnover, which just kind of speaks to some of the erratic play. I have a lot of questions with Duke's offensive line. This unit is entirely rebuilt from last year. They only have 2 returning starters. They added a lot of transfers, but only one of those players started in their first game. That's a concern for me. Pass catchers, I think, are probably a strength of this team, which isn't saying very much. It's basically Jordan Moore and whatever's left. And then on defense, they lost a lot of their premier players to either transfer or graduation. A guy like RJ Oben is now playing for Notre Dame's defense. You lost Al Blades, Brandon Johnson at corner, Jeremiah Lewis at safety, Aeneas Peebles and Dwayne Carter on the interior of your defense. And it's Duke. It's hard to transfer into a program like this. Their admissions are very difficult. So they don't have a lot coming in to replace these players. You've got a couple Ivy Leaguers and stuff like that. It's just a big drop-off Duke in their first year under a new coaching staff. So it's just difficult for me to see them from a talent perspective. Whereas Northwestern, this team is changing as well, but honestly, this is probably for the good. They hired Lujan as their OC. He comes from South Dakota State. Their offense is going to be this run-heavy, power run game. They bring in Mike Wright. He's a dual-threat quarterback, and he doesn't really have a lot of throwing chops, but he's a quarterback that you can run the ball with, so that suits the offense. They're using multiple running backs. Cam Porter's still there. Caleb Komolafe is a player that played really well in their first game. And when they do throw, AJ Henning and Bryce Kurtz have been efficient. Offensive line had 3 starters back, 3 transfers as well. Looked pretty good in their first game against Miami, Ohio. And on defense, they're expected to get some players back healthy pretty soon. They're a unit that did return a ton of starting experience. They had 10 starters back, at least 300 plus snaps. And they'll be getting back some players. Carmine Bastone, he's expected to come back sooner rather than later. Ori Adei at corner is expected to be back in a timely manner. Those are both quotes. We'll see about this week. I'm not 100% sure. But the defense played well aside from those players, even with their absences. And again, we're not expecting this Duke offense to be anywhere near efficient. They ranked 101st in offensive efficiency in their first game against an FCS team. Just atrocious. And Northwestern does have a very good defense. They outplayed Duke according to efficiency metrics, really across the board. So I'm looking forward to this game. Have Northwestern -2.5. And that'll do it for our 2-game Friday slate. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Reach out to me on Twitter. If you have anything you'd like to say, I'm around and my DMs are open. It's at Matt_Gajewski. Otherwise, hit the thumbs up button on the way out, subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with another best bets for the Saturday slate. Have a good one.